May 31, 2026, one of the best days for me recently. We have lived in Portugal for 3 years. We spent 2.5 years in the Algarve, where almost everyone spoke English. But about half a year ago we moved to the countryside, and here people speak English much less often. Since moving to Portugal, it has mostly been just me and my wife, and sometimes we miss having some company. Luckily, we got a personal invite to an event where they held a morning hike to honor the local fire department. We could support them with 10 euros each, and they gave us a yellow shirt like this that we were wearing. There was also a craft fair where we met and talked with a very nice man who is originally from Norway. After the hike, there was also a religious event held on a big stage at this location. By the way, the name of this mountain is Guardian Angel Mountain. It got its name because a small chapel dedicated to a guardian angel was built on top of it from donations. I was quite nervous before the hike because I had no idea exactly how many kilometers we were going to walk. Besides this, I also struggled quite heavily with mental health issues in the days leading up to this. I was afraid of everything that seemed even a little bit unpredictable to me. After the warm-up, we started off at a surprisingly fast pace. Here I still thought that if the pace was this intense, we would only do a short lap of honor. The feeling was incredibly mysterious walking in this very thick fog. We walked all the way up to the top of the mountain where the wind turbines were. The short lap I had in my mind would have ended right about here. I remembered that a path leads from here back to the exact point where we started. The most typical elements of the area are the traditional windmills seen in the video. When we first visited this place, we only knew it as a nice viewpoint. I would have never thought that such a long hiking trail starts right behind the mill. Looking at the video now, the pace does not seem that fast to me either. However, we kept up with the speed the whole time despite the rocky and bumpy road. I remember that I had to constantly look down to see where I was stepping. By the way, my wife was recording this the entire time. I focused entirely on not falling behind and trying not to fall over. I am a much slower hiker because I really love looking around. With views like this, I like to just stop and take a close look at every detail. If we go too fast, somehow I am not able to fully enjoy the landscape. We fell behind a few times, but we could keep up with the couple right in front of us. It always annoys me a little bit when my wife stops. She always records everything, so I feel like we are making no progress. At the same time, it is always nice to look back at these memories later. The recent Hurricane Christine knocked down quite a lot of trees here too. For now, we were only going downwards, but even so I could feel my knees working hard. This was the only obstacle where a slowdown in pace could be felt. Fighting the demons of unpredictability was scary. We knew almost nothing about this entire hike. We only knew the exact time and place it was starting. Sadly, I am often very inflexible and a bit of a control freak. My current mental health issues also stem from this. But this unpredictable hike completely pulled me out of my rut. Lately, I felt that I was not capable of anything and my body was weak. I obsessively tried to protect myself from any slightly stressful situation. I was completely a prisoner of my very own limits. On this hike, however, I felt like others were taking the lead. I thought that if we fell behind, we would surely get lost. This was because we had never been on this hiking trail before. I could finally focus on the things happening all around me. And I did not constantly look for symptoms on my own body, which I always imagine as a proper hypochondriac would do. After many downhills, there were just as many more uphills. It was good to see how well people 3 times my age handled it. I was surprised at myself for being so unnecessarily afraid. There were a few moments when my heart stung, but I still had to keep going. Once I got past my imagined limits, I felt absolutely perfect afterwards. I felt completely alive, just like a truly living person should. By the way, I have never joined any group activities before, but I really liked it. I strangely hoped that we would have a random chat with someone. But everyone already had their own company and circle of friends. At first, the weather was quite cloudy and cold, but the sun came out on the climbs. My wife bragged early on that this fast pace was normal for her, but then she got tired too. She actually has asthma, but she motivated me with how well she did. I'm proud of her too. I agreed to carry her feminine bag because she had to hold her sweater and phone. Here I was already leading the way and she kept falling behind to record videos. As I learned later, this trail is also famous for wild orchids and medicinal herbs. The toughest climb was waiting for us at the very end of the trail. And at the end of the hike, they were waiting for us with some snacks. There were fruits, soft drinks, cheeses, and also traditional bifana sandwiches. The lesson of the day was that I had set all my own boundaries and limits before. The most important thing is to look for the smallest joys and positives every day. You have to recognize and experience every positive moment. Focus only on them. Negativity breeds more negativity and leads to long-term mental health decline. I wish all of you the very best. Please take good care of yourselves.
We think of time as a one-way movie.
How dare they? My dream.
We have fought for the right to experience peace.